What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren, and you might have heard recently that Marvel Studios has went and canceled some projects. Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed this himself a few weeks ago. He said at a conference they pulled the trigger and canceled some of their upcoming projects they were working on. Then a few days ago, some insiders came out and talked about some projects that are not going to happen, such as Captain Marvel 3, Ant-Man 4, and also a sequel to the Eternals, Eternals 2, reportedly was canceled. However, we have some news on that front today. And while it looks like we might not get a project that is specifically about the Eternals and titled Eternals 2, a direct sequel to the Eternals film, we might be getting something possibly even better, which could come in the form of a huge cosmic crossover movie in the MCU, possibly a Cosmic Avengers film. Kevin Feige has already said that there are going to be different sides to the MCU moving forward, and we've already seen the development of their street side to the MCU. We'll have the street level Avengers, and that's been building out quite nicely lately. We have Daredevil, who is supposed to unite with Spider-Man in Spider-Man 4, hopefully. We have She-Hulk, we have the Punisher coming back. Ant-Man is rumored to possibly appear in Spider-Man 4 as well, and Kingpin is supposed to be the big bad of the street level side. Another side of the MCU that they are doing the same thing with is the supernatural side, and the team for that is widely believed to be the Midnight Suns. In fact, it's been reported by insiders that a Midnight Suns project is coming, and Kevin Feige has mentioned the cosmic side before, so of course they're going to have a cosmic team. Well, it looks like the Eternals are going to be thrown into that team, and the story is still going to continue on. However, it has the potential to be even more epic than it could have been before, because now we can include other people like Nova, Galactus, the Silver Surfer, Drax, Nebula, Peter Quill, and other amazing characters as well. This report comes from the insider My Time to Shine Hello, who states Eternals 2 is not canceled, it is transformed into another project. And basically what this project could be is an actual Cosmic Avengers movie. And this could start to come together in Thor 5. When we left off last with the Eternals, not counting the post-credit scene about the Black Knight, the Eternals that were on Earth were captured by a Celestial. They were taken for judgment. And of course, this story needs to be picked up. This can't be ignored. Plus, they introduced Star Fox and Pip the Troll after. That needs to be picked up as well. And where was the last place that we saw a Celestial? In Thor Love and Thunder. We saw some Celestials at Olympus, where the gods are, and the Celestials are gods. And before you get thinking that Thor 5 is going to be like Thor Love and Thunder, that is not going to be the case. Chris Hemsworth has already expressed that if he comes back for Thor 5, it is going to be very different. We already know that Marvel Studios is not going to be hiring Taika Waititi to direct the next Thor film. So we know based off of what Chris Hemsworth said, it's going to be different in tone, which means it's going to be serious. And we also know that it is going to be about gods. After all, Hercules was set up in Thor Love and Thunder's post-credit scene to go against Thor. So the start of this could start to happen in Thor 5. Because remember, the Celestials are not just judging the Eternals, they are also judging Earth. They're judging them to see if Earth will live. Thor might hear about this. Perhaps while he's fighting Hercules, Hercules could even say something like, "Don't even worry about your people on Earth. They're gonna die anyways. The Celestials are coming." And this could basically start a story of Annihilation, the Annihilation Wave. Now, this is a massive event in the comics that involves a ton of really epic characters. It involves Annihilus as the main villain who teams up with Thanos. The two of them even defeat Galactus and use Galactus as a weapon. Now, Thanos is no longer in the MCU, at least not in the main timeline that we are used to seeing. We could see a variant of him in Secret Wars or perhaps Deadpool and Wolverine, but for now, he's gone. However, I think what he has done possibly sets up Annihilus. You see, Annihilus and Galactus kind of wanted the same thing. Not really, but kind of. Thanos wants to eliminate half of all life, whereas Annihilus wants to simply extinguish all life. And when Thanos learns of this, he plans to betray Annihilus. But for a while, they are aligned. And what if Annihilus exists in the MCU and was aligned with Thanos before? Now, this doesn't actually have to happen in the MCU. Annihilus doesn't have to have been aligned with Thanos before for this story to work by any means. However, I think there would be a pretty cool connection. See, in Avengers Infinity War, we find out that Thanos decimated Xandar and the Nova Corps, but in the comics during the Annihilation Wave, it's actually Annihilus who decimates Xandar. Xandar. And really, the main hero of the Annihilation Wave is Nova. And after the annihilation of Xandar and the entire Nova Corps and Nova Centurions, Richard Rider becomes the sole survivor and inherits all of the Nova Force. He also allows the Xandarian world mind, the artificial intelligence that's made up of eons of knowledge and experiences of the entire Xandarian race that also has the power cosmic utilized by all the Nova Corps members. He allows it to download itself into his mind, becoming Nova Prime. And ultimately, at the end, it would end up being Nova with the help of a lot of people who defeats Annihilus. Now, how could this tie into what has already happened for the Eternals? Well, you could either have it two ways. One, the Celestials could be on the side of humans and essentially all life because Annihilus wants to set out to kill every living thing. And Celestials, as has been established, can die. So it is possible that the Celestials put everything on hold to actually align with the Eternals and align with the other cosmic members to try and defeat Annihilus. Because in the comics, Annihilus goes and wipes out a lot. Many worlds, and he fights with the Kree, and he fights with the Skrull. He fights Heralds of Galactus, and he imprisons them. Ronan the Accuser, the Super Skrull, Peter Quill, Nebula, Gamora, Nova. All of these characters come together to fight against Annihilus, and ultimately what they end up doing is freeing Galactus because Thanos ends up betraying Annihilus. What's funny is Drax ends up killing Thanos, which is all he wanted to do in the MCU films, but that's irrelevant. Galactus gets released and he lets out an omnidirectional blast that is so large it later becomes known as the Galactus event. But it ends up wiping out most of the Annihilation Wave, it kills more than 3 star systems, and it even destroys a Watcher. This is all entirely possible for the MCU since the Fantastic Four movie is coming up and the main villain for the film is supposed to be Galactus, so this is another tie-in that they could work in with this huge event. Now, if they didn't want to go with the actual villain Annihilus, they could actually kind of use the Celestials as a so-called Annihilation Wave. They definitely have the power to do it, and they would need a massive force in order to stop the Celestials from going and destroying Earth. And we already know that the Celestials have destroyed many other planets in the past, so they could really be kind of considered an Annihilation Wave, and this is where the Eternals could come into play to fight against them with other cosmic heroes. Now, as far as cosmic heroes in the MCU are concerned, we still do have Peter Quill. He's on Earth right now, but it's said he'll return. We assume it's for Avengers Secret Wars or maybe Avengers 5, but it could be after, and he could be a part of this huge event. And we do have a Guardians of the Galaxy team still out there, and Phyla Vell, who is now a part of the Guardians team, is actually a major player with Drax in the Annihilation event in the comics. So you know if this happens, they are totally going to be involved. Plus, we are supposed to get Nova in the MCU sooner rather than later. And who knows, yesterday we mentioned that Ryan Gosling has been cast in the MCU according to a recent report from the insider My Time to Shine Hello. His name has been associated with Nova for a very long time now. Perhaps Marvel Studios has actually cast him as Nova, preparing for Nova's introduction to the MCU. And again, Thor can tie this all together because he already has a big connection with the Guardians of the Galaxy, with Earth, with the Celestials. Plus, to top it all off, we know that Captain Marvel is going to be further exploring the galaxy. She may be back on Earth during the next Avengers film and Avengers Secret Wars, but we know that overall she is a cosmic character and she'll be out there in the cosmos and probably will end up teaming up with hopefully the Guardians of the Galaxy, Nova, Thor, and more. Now, we know that there's going to be this big event. It may not consist of the Annihilation Wave, but it will indeed pick up where the Eternals left off. So there is a giant threat coming to Earth. So the only question is, when would this event actually take place? Would it take place before Avengers Secret Wars, before the multiverse saga ends, or could it take place after? Well, realistically, it should happen after, just based on the time we have until we get to Avengers Secret Wars. It feels super far for us, but in reality, it's not that far away considering what Marvel has already mapped out. The only problem with this is we believe that the MCU is going to do a soft reboot after Secret Wars. So that may make it kind of messy for the Eternals and Celestial situation after a soft reboot. However, that doesn't mean that they still can't do it. Ideally, it would happen before, and then they would realize that there is a greater threat out there, not only to themselves, but to the entire multiverse. But again, it would certainly work if they waited after as well. But let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Do you think the Annihilation Annihilation Wave event would be a good MCU Cosmic Avengers project for Marvel Studios to do? Or do you think that it should be something else? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay up to date on all the recent MCU news. And if you subscribe and leave a comment, you're automatically entered in our giveaway for a chance to win an Xbox Series X, a PS5, and some Marvel Legends items. The winner gets to pick one item, and we pick one winner at the end of each month. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.